I want to talk to you about something I caught myself doing recently. The moment I realized it, I felt ashamed. Not the kind of shame where I think I'm a bad person. The kind of shame where I thought, how did I not see this coming? You watched the last series, you learned that you have inherent value. You learned that God designed you. You learned that you are meant to show up fully. And intellectually, you believe all that. You know that it's true. And something happens. You are in a quiet moment. You're praying. You're thinking about what you actually want, what you're actually asking God for right there. In the middle of that honest conversation with Him, something inside of you starts to negotiate. Maybe I shouldn't ask for all this. Maybe that's too much. Maybe I'm being greedy. Maybe God wants me to be content with what I have instead of asking for more. You make the ask smaller. You shrink it. You negotiate yourself down from the fullness of what you actually want to something that feels more humble, more acceptable, more safe. Then you wonder why nothing really changes. And I'm not saying that God is calling you to more material things. I'm not saying that that's how we need to live our life. I am saying that so many women play small. That is where my issue comes from. I can't stand seeing so many women who open up the Bible so often, every single day. They read it and they see His promises, they see His truth, and then they question it. They are still playing small. They are still so focused on their own things that they can't see the truth. They see the promises. They think that's for back then. That's not for right now. That's not for me. Why? I did this recently. I was sitting with God, asking Him to fill these gaps that I can't feel. I have desires, I have a calling, I have things I want to build and create and move toward. I was asking Him to help me with all of it. I caught myself doing it. I was asking for smaller. I was thinking, maybe that's too much. Maybe I should want less. Maybe I should be more grateful for what I already have instead of reaching and asking for more. I was playing small even in my prayers. I realized in that moment that playing small isn't actually humility. It's almost insulting to God. It's telling Him that His resources aren't big enough for my ask. It's telling Him that He'd rather I be small than that I step into the fullness of what He created me for. That is not how God works. What if Solomon did that? What if he did that? Here's what I want you to understand. God does not prepare good works in advance for a small version of you. He prepared them for the full version, the version that doesn't negotiate herself down. When you play small, when you shrink your ask, when you tell God, actually, this little bit right here, this is fine. You're not being humble. You are refusing what He has offered you. Think about what you would tell your daughter if she came to you and said, Mom, I want something. I think I'm asking for too much, so I'm just going to ask for half. You would probably tell her that's not how this works. You would probably tell her to ask for what she actually wants, what she actually needs. You would tell her that you want to give her the fullness, not the crumbs. That's how God sees you. He's not looking at you asking for the big thing and thinking, there she goes, being too much again. He's looking at you, asking for the small thing and thinking, why is she making herself smaller than I created her to be? Let me be very specific about what I'm talking about, because this isn't some crazy abstract theory. Playing small, it looks like knowing you want something, but being afraid to actually ask God for it. Asking God for part of it, because the whole thing feels a little presumptuous. Feeling called to something, talking yourself out of it because it seems too ambitious. Having a vision, shrinking it down because the full vision feels too big. Wanting to step into something, negotiating yourself down to a version that's less threatening. All of this comes from the same root. You believe somewhere, deep down, that wanting more, asking for more, stepping into more is selfish. It's greedy. It's not spiritual. That's a lie. God doesn't want you to play small. Imagine if he had Paul play small. He wouldn't have done majority of the things that he did. Now, Paul did not live a rich, wealthy life. You know what he did? He lived a big life, a very, very big life, submitted. God doesn't want small from you. He designed you with capacity. He filled you with calling. He prepared good works in advance. He watches you stand there negotiating yourself down. I think it breaks his heart because he already said yes to the big thing. He's just waiting for you to say yes as well. For you to step in and say yes to the fullness of what he created for you. I think about what happens when you actually ask for the whole thing instead of negotiating yourself down. You stop dividing your energy between what you want and what you think you're allowed to want. You get focused. You get clear. You start moving towards something instead of standing still, waiting for permission. Your prayers change. Instead of asking God to work with a small version of your vision, you're asking him to help you build the thing you actually see. Instead of hoping for crumbs, you are co-creating with him for the fullness. Your decisions change. You stop making choices based off what's small, what's safe. You start making choices based on what actually matters, what actually fits the vision you are building, what actually gets you closer to the thing that you are asking God for. Your presence changes. When you're living toward something real instead of living small, people can feel it. Your kids feel it. Your husband feels it. Your team feels it. They feel the difference between the woman who's negotiated herself down and a woman who's actually going for something. The thing is, asking God for the big thing doesn't mean you are arrogant. It means you actually believe he can do it. It means you actually trust that he prepared you in advance. This whole thing, it's not about being materialistic. It's not asking God for more out of selfish ambition. It is trusting him. Having so much big, crazy faith that you go all in whatever crazy task he assigns to you. It means that you actually trust that he prepared everything in advance. It means that you are not insulting his capacity by asking for the full version of what he already said yes to. Here's what I know. Just knowing this intellectually isn't going to stop you from playing small the next time this fear comes up. Your nervous system has already trained you to play small. It feels safer. It feels more humble. It feels like you're less likely to fail or to disappoint if you're asking for less. When you watch this and you think, I'm going to stop playing small, I'm going to ask God for the whole thing when you sit down and pray. When you're in that moment of actually voicing what you want, that old voice is going to come back. It's going to tell you to negotiate down. It's going to tell you that you're asking for too much, that you need more than just that intellectual knowing. You need to rewire what your nervous system believes is safe. You need that community showing up for you so you know that it's not selfish to ask big. You need a system that helps you stay anchored in the truth when everything in you wants to shrink back to small. That is what we build together. I help you identify where you are still playing small. I help you understand where that voice came from. I teach you how to ask God for the whole thing and actually believe He's big enough to deliver it. You do this with women who are learning the same thing, women who are tired of negotiating themselves down, women who are ready to ask for what they actually want. Here's what I'm asking you. What are you playing small about? What is the thing you want you negotiated down because it feels too big to ask for? Don't answer quick. Sit with that question. Because the answer to that question is the thing that God's already preparing for you. The answer to that question is the fullness He's waiting for you to step into. If you're ready to stop playing small, if you're ready to ask God for the whole thing instead of negotiating down, if you're ready to believe that your big ask isn't greedy, it's faithful, the link is in the description to watch the masterclass. Style is more than just clothes. It is how you step into your God-given purpose. I will see you all next time.